Hello everyone. Good to see everyone back for the second video edition of the Sitdowns. We already have our the blog edition of it on our Tumblr. You can find that in the link down below, radrianus.tumblr.com. Give that a look. Today's subject for the Sitdowns is going to be the idea, not the idea, the character known as the epic hero. The epic hero is one of my favorite characterizations in all of literature. You know, we have all of our different archetypes. You know, we have, you have like the maiden. You have, your damsels in distress who fall into that category. You have, the ingenious type characters. You have like your adventurers. Then you have, your brutish, kind of narrow-minded jerkbags who end up being, complete heroes in the end, and that's kind of what the epic hero is about. Let's just jump right into it. The epic hero, I've loved the epic hero when I first started studying in college. I didn't really know that much about archetypes when I was studying, and so it was like a great outlet for me to learn all these different characters. And epic hero really stuck with me because it was one of those characters that I'm like, wait, I've seen this character in all different kinds of literature, like not even just our classical precedents, but stuff that we read today. But like the classical precedents, like what do we have for our epic hero? We have our Beowulfs, our Gilgameshes, our Rama, which is from the Ramayana. When you have Beowulf, he was like this young Northern European warrior, and he has to fight, Grendel and take him down, save the kingdom, and he's a little bit foolhardy, but he's very strong, he's very mighty, and he's just a really tough dude. He doesn't really have that much smarts, but it's just in his strength and his adventures that the story makes it becomes compelling. But let's forget that film that they made with Angelina Jolie. I don't know what they were thinking, but I mean, yeah, if that's your only reference point, then yeah, that guy, that's an epic hero. That movie was very not epic, so don't use that too much as your reference point. Go and read the book. Read the book. And Gilgamesh, Gilgamesh was like this ancient king who, he's kind of tasked by the gods to make himself better. He has like this sidekick slash BFF, as we would all call him today. These are like bros to the max. His friend Enkidu, and like he's just this beast man who kind of teaches Gilgamesh certain ethics and morals, makes him a better person. And Gilgamesh was a total badass. This guy would just, one of his tasks, I remember, there's this tunnel that runs through the earth, and apparently the reason we don't see the sun during nighttime is because the sun is making its way through this tunnel so it could recirculate over the land. And Gilgamesh runs through this tunnel before the sun can catch up to him and incinerate his ass. So that's pretty cool. Like I was like, yeah, screw whatever guy who thinks he can run a really fast 40-yard dash. Run a sun tunnel. So yeah, Gilgamesh, pretty cool guy. Ramayana, we had our character Rama, and he's just this really cool young hero who has like a magic bow that only he could use. Can anyone say Thor? With the whole Mjolnir thing, and Thor kind of applies as an epic hero character as well. Thor is less so because he's a god. Epic heroes oftentimes aren't gods, or they're if anything they're godlike, but that's still cool. And you have all these old classical heroes that we've these various cultures have contributed to us and for us to enjoy now, and to kind of span from for our modern day fiction and all of our stories. I mean, what's a good example? I mentioned all of our superheroes. I mean, oh look what we have here, superheroes. These guys are the ones who kind of have taken up the mantle of our epic heroes. I mean, almost all superheroes have an epic element to them. They're always like someone who's kind of either down on their luck, or they have some sort of moral ambiguity to them, and then they rise up, they go do some amazing feats, and then they end up, being for the better in the end. And that's exactly what the epic hero is. They're always not as what they can be later in, in their life, and then it's them growing. It's all about growth. We have our Spider-Man is my favorite superhero, or one of them, he's basically an epic hero. I mean, he's a really selfish young kid who doesn't know what to do with his new power, and then he ends up losing a family member over it, and so he has to be for the better. He has to realize that he needs to be responsible for himself. I'm not going to requote the one quote that everyone knows, by heart. No, I'm not going to say it. You all know what I'm talking about. And then you have other characters. I remember mentioning on the blog, we have like Katniss Everdeen from the Hunger Games series. That's a really applicable character right there. Katniss kind of, she has her own, like, I need to survive just for my family and kind of keep me and my sister going, and this whole deal. But then she kind of goes on this journey. She has, like, she doesn't necessarily travel to different places, but she has these different feats that she has to accomplish in the various Hunger Games that she participates in, and it changes her whole dynamic on life. It changes her moral standpoint on what she feels is right in the world, and her romantic standpoint. So I mean, you have the relationship between her and Peeta, which is really interesting, and she has some epic elements to her, and a lot of people don't really notice that. And excuse me, it's early in the morning. I need a little bit. Caffeination gets you through the day, guys. This has been a raft-proof message. I mean, who else do we have? I remember mentioning someone else. Oh, one of my favorite books is Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss, and subsequently the sequel, Wise Man's Fear. Kvothe, he is very much an epic hero. I mean, we don't really know what the end of his story is yet. We're still waiting for the third book. Get on it, Rothfuss. But Kvothe, he's this young kid who's like a minstrel, and he learns the ways of magic, and kind of starts developing his character around the different travels that he's had and the different challenges that he's had as well. And he starts to be shaped into this better character, kind of morally ambiguous, but you can tell him take a lot more dimensions to his characterization. He's not just that young talented kid from when he was in the very beginning of the book, and and where we are in the series right now, he's still like young, he's still in the university, so we have yet to kind of see this character with epic elements to him fully graduate to his adulthood, and that'd be something that'd be really great to see. So it's one of those things, we have an epic like hero in progress, and it's in several of our modern day literary works. I mean, you can go into your typical adventure novel, or you can go into your typical science fiction novel even, and find characters who are epic like, which is amazing. It's such a great thing. I like to design characters that are epic in themselves, a little bit, not too much. I've yet to write a concrete epic story, which would be great. I will do that eventually, in my lifetime. But like my main character, Isaiah from the Fatal Follower series, you can read the excerpts connected to the blog down below. But yeah, Isaiah, I mean, he's like this young kid he's kind of naive, he's really unsuspecting, and he ends up having to take on this whole responsibility, travel around the world, and undergo all these feats, all these challenges to be a better person, to be a better hero. And and that's one of the things that I think is really great. I wouldn't say that he's only an epic hero. I don't think he's an epic hero like just down to it. He's all these different other things. But yeah, I mean, people like myself, I totally advocate for the epic heroes. Like, he's a pretty cool archetype. I mean, there are so many others that are really cool, but I mean, we can't do the whole blog on all these different epic heroes. I think I'm going to be going like hours on that subject. So on the comments down below, maybe you guys can let me know what kind of archetypes do you like, and we can talk about that some other time. But until then, thanks for joining me for the sit-downs. Cheers, everybody, and we'll be seeing everyone next week for another edition of the sit-downs. I haven't quite decided on what we're going to do. I'm going to be deciding within the next couple hours or so. So we'll be in touch. Peace and love, and see you soon. Bye.